Welcome to a wonderful day of reading goals by Brian Tracy, which helps us to get our dreams faster by giving us a clear guideline on how to achieve our goals. Today, we're going to read from page number 46. On the left, we've highlighted the key to happiness. So let's begin without further ado. You remember that happiness is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. When you have clear, exciting goals and ideals, you will feel happier about yourself and your world. You will be more positive and optimistic. You'll be more cheerful and enthusiastic. You will feel internally motivated to get up and get going every morning because every step you're taking will be moving you in the direction of something that is important to you. Resolve to think about your ideal future most of the time. Remember, the very best days of your life lie ahead. The happiest moments you will ever experience are still to come. The highest income you will ever earn is going to materialize in the months and years ahead. The future is going to be better than anything that may have happened in your past. There are no limits. The clearer you can be about your long term future, the more rapidly you will attract people and circumstances into your life to help make that future a reality. The greater clarity you have about who you are and what you want, the more you will achieve and the faster you will achieve it in every area of your life. So create your own future. Now, there are steps to do this. How do we do this? This is the last part of this particular chapter. And let's understand this. Number one, imagine that there is a solution to every problem, a way to overcome every limitation, and no limit on your achieving every goal you can set for yourself. What would you do differently? So, firstly, people who really get what they want in life never have an obstacle in the sense that if there's a problem, they know that there is a solution and they find a way to find the solution. And how to find solution comes to them easily when they think, how can I work differently and how can I act differently? Number two, practice back from the future thinking. Project forward 5 years and look back to the present. What would have to have happened for your world to be ideal? Number three, imagine your financial life were perfect in every way. How much would you be earning? How much would you be worth? What steps could you take starting today to make these goals a reality? Number four, imagine your family and personal life was perfect. What would it look like? What should you start doing more or less of starting today? Number five, plan your perfect calendar. Design your year from January to December as if you had no limitations. What would you change starting today? Number six, imagine that your levels of health and fitness were perfect in every way. What could you do starting today to make your vision for yourself into a reality? So, again, go fast forward, think about it, and come back and then plan yourself. And this written vision will help us, not just going in the future and thinking about it, writing them down with clarity, looking at the goals every single day is what we've been taught in the first three chapters. Pretty much ballpark of it. Of course, there are detailing which you can review by going through the recording again or by reading the book, whatever suits you. Now we start the chapter number 4, which is about clarifying our values. So Marcus Aurelius says, one universe made up of all that is, and one God in all, and one principle of being, and one law, the reason shared by all thinking creatures, and one truth. One of the most important characteristics of leaders and top people in every area of life is that they know who they are, what they believe in, and what they stand for. Average people are usually confused about their goals, values, and ideals, and as a result, they keep going back and forth and accomplishing very little. Men and women who become leaders, on the other hand, with the same or even fewer abilities and opportunities, go on to accomplish great things in whatever they attempt. Life is lived from the inside out. The very core of your personality is your values. Your values are what makes you the person you are. Everything you do on the outside is dictated and determined by your values on the inside, another whether clear or fuzzy. The greater clarity you have regarding your values on the inside, the more precise and effective will be your actions on the outside. So there are 5 levels of personality. Let's understand them. You can imagine your personality by thinking of a target with concentric rings from the inside to the outside. Your personality is also made up of 5 rings, starting from the center, your values, radiating outwards to the next circle, which are your beliefs. Your values determines your beliefs about yourself and the world around you. If you have positive values such as love, compassion, generosity, you will believe that people in your world are deserving of these values and you will treat them accordingly. Expect the best. Your beliefs, in turn, determine the third ring of your personality, your expectations. If you have positive values, you will believe yourself to be a good person. If you believe yourself to be a good person, you will expect good things to happen to you. If you expect good things to happen to you, you will be positive, cheerful, and future oriented. You will look for the good in other people and situations. The fourth level of your personality, determined by your expectations, is your attitude. Your attitude will be an outward manifestation or reflection of your values, beliefs, and expectations. For example, if your value is that this is a good world to live in, and your belief is that you're going to be very successful in life, you will expect that everything that happens to you is helping you in some way. As a result, you will have a positive mental attitude towards other people, and they will respond positively towards you. You will be more cheerful and an optimistic person. You will be someone that others want to work with and for buy from, sell to, and generally help to be more successful. This is why a positive mental attitude seems to go hand in hand with great success in every walk of life. The fifth ring or level of life is your actions. Your actions on the outside will ultimately be a reflection of your innermost values, beliefs, and expectations on the inside. This is why what you achieve in life and work will be determined more by what is going on inside of you than by any other factor. As within, so without. You can always tell how a person thinks most of the time by looking at the conditions of their outer lives. A positive, optimistic goal and future oriented person on the inside will enjoy a happy, successful, and prosperous life on the outside most of the time. And Aristotle said that the ultimate aim or purpose of human life is to achieve your own happiness. You are the very happiest when what you're doing on the outside is congruent with your values on the inside. When you're living in complete alignment with what you consider to be good and right and true, you'll automatically feel happy and positive about yourself and your world. Your goal must be congruent with your values, and your values must be congruent with your goals. This is by clarifying your values is often the starting point to high achievement and peak performance. Values clarification requires that you think through what is really important to you in your life. You then organize your entire life around these values. Any attempt to live on the outside in a manner that contradicts the values you hold on the inside will cause you stress, negativity, unhappiness, pessimism, and even anger and frustration. Your chief responsibility to yourself is the creation of a great life, is therefore for you to develop absolute clarity about your values in everything you do. Know what you really want. Stephen Covey once said, be sure that as you scramble up the ladder of success, it is leaning against the right building. Carly Simon once sang a famous line, is this all there is? Many people work hard on the outside to achieve goals that they think they want, only to find at the end of the day that they get no joy or satisfaction from their accomplishments. This occurs when the outer accomplishment is not in harmony with your inner values. Don't let this happen to you. Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. This applies to your values as much as to other areas of your life. Values clarification is something you do on a go forward basis. You continually stop the clock like a time out in a football game and ask, what are my values in this area? In the Bible, it says, what does it benefit a man if he achieves the whole world but loses his own soul? The happiest people in the world today are those who are living in harmony with their innermost convictions and values. The unhappiest people are those who are attempting to live incongruent with what they truly believe and value. Trust your intuition. Self-trust is the foundation of greatness. Self-trust comes from listening to your intuition, to your still small voice within. Men and women begin to become great when they begin to listen to their inner voice and absolutely trust that they are being guided by a higher power each step of the way. Living in alignment with your true values is a royal road to self-confidence, self-respect, and personal pride. In fact, almost every human problem can be resolved by returning to values. Whenever you experience stress of any kind, look into yourself and ask, in what way am I compromising my innermost values in this situation? So, once again, it's a reminder for all of us, we all are blessed with intuition. The more we trust, the more it becomes profound. And when we know that this intuition, this voice, the inner voice is coming to us, this guidance is coming to us, we must trust it because this is being guided to us by a higher power, by the masters, guardians, angels, or whoever the light beings that are around us, which are always guiding us, nudging us, prodding us, guiding us, mentoring us. So we must listen to that. That's the first way to a successful life. And watching our behavior is very important. How can you tell what your values really are? The answer is super simple. You always demonstrate your true values in your actions, and especially your actions under pressure. Whenever you're forced to choose between one behavior and another, you will always act consistent with what is most important and valuable to you at that moment. Values, in fact, are organized in a hierarchy. You have a series of values, some of these very intense and important, and some of them weaker and less important. One of the most important exercises you can engage in is to determine who you really are, and what you really want is to organize your values by priority. Once you're clear about the relative importance of your values, you can then organize your outer life so that it is in alignment with them. Examining our past behavior. There are some insightful ways to help you to understand your true values. First of all, you can look at your past. How have you behaved under pressure in the past? What choices did you make with your time or money when you were forced to choose? Your answers will give you an indication of your predominant values at that time. Dale Carnegie once wrote, "Tell me what gives a person's greatest feeling of importance, and I will tell you his entire philosophy of life." What makes you feel important? What raises your self esteem? What increases your sense of self respect and personal pride? What have you accomplished in your past life that has been given you the greatest sense of pride and satisfaction? These answers will give you good indications of your true values. Determine your heart's desire. The spiritual teacher Emmett Fox wrote about the importance of discovering your heart's desire. What is your heart's desire? What is it that deep down in your heart, more than anything else, you would like to be, have, or do in life? As a friend of mine asks, what do you want to be famous for? What words would you like people to use to describe you when you're not there? What would you like people to say about you when you have passed on? What would you like someone to say about you at your funeral? How do you want your family, friends, and children to remember you? How would you want to talk? How would you want them to talk about you after you have left this earth? How would you like people to talk to them about you? What kind of reputation do you have today? What kind of a reputation would you like to have sometime in the future? What would you have to begin doing today in order to create the kind of reputation that you desire? Very, very important for all of us to think of these lines. There's something that we all have in mind, but we don't write them down. When we don't write them down, there's no clarity. When there's no clarity, then obviously we have no goals. Once we have no goals, how will success come to us so easy in that area? Things are meant to be worked on. Now is the time. Your past is not your future. Many people have had difficult experiences growing up. They have fallen onto hard times and been associated with the wrong people. They have behaved in ways that are illegal, socially unacceptable. Sometimes they have even been convicted and sent to prison for their crimes. But at a certain point in life, they decided to change. They thought seriously about the kind of person that they wanted to be known as, thought of in the future. They decided to change their lives by changing the values that they lived by. By making these decisions and sticking to them, they change their lives, and what others have done, you can do as well. Remember, It doesn't matter where you're coming from. All that really matters is where you're going. So past is always in the past. It can teach us, it can make us, it can break us, but it's on us to get up and start our life again wherever we are. If you were an outstanding person in every respect, how would you behave towards others? What sorts of permission would you leave on others after you had met them and spoken with them? Imagine you could be completely different person, excellent person. How would you be different from today? How much you like yourself. In psychology, your level of self esteem determines your level of happiness. Self esteem is defined as how much you like yourself. Your self esteem, in turn, is determined by your self image. This is the way you see yourself and think about yourself in your day to day interactions with others. Your self image is shaped by your self ideal. Your self ideal is made up of the virtues, values, goals, hopes, dreams, aspirations that you have for yourself sometime in the future. Here is what psychologists have discovered: the more your behavior in the moment is consistent with what you feel your ideal behavior should be, the more you like and respect yourself and the happier you are. This is something to be highlighted. This is something to be read, reread, to re understood. So, if we want to be like somebody, we have to feel that about us now. And if we are happy about the behavior in this moment, and we continue to do that again and again, we will not only respect ourselves, we'll feel okay, we're on the right track and we like what we are doing. And our respect for ourselves grows because we have been determined, focused, and consistent. And then that's a road to happiness. On the other hand, whenever you behave in a way that is inconsistent with your ideal of your very best behavior, you experience a negative self image. You feel yourself to be performing below your best, below what you truly aspire to, and as a result, your self esteem and your level of happiness decrease. Perform at your best. The moment that you begin walking, talking, and behaving in ways that are consistent with your highest ideal, your self image improves, your self esteem increases, and you feel happier about yourself and your world. For example, whenever you're complimented or praised by another person, or given a prize or an award for accomplishment, your self esteem goes up, sometimes dramatically. You'll feel happy about yourself. You feel that your whole life is in harmony and that you are living incongruent with your highest ideals. You feel successful and valuable. Your aim should be to deliberately and systematically create the circumstances that raise your self esteem in everything you do. You should live your life as if you were already the outstanding person that you intend to be sometime in the future. Know what you believe. What are your values today in regards to your work and your career? Do you believe in the values of integrity, hard work, dependability, creativity, cooperation, initiative, ambition, and getting along well with others? People who live these values in their work are vastly more successful and more highly esteemed than people who do not. What are your values with regard to your family? Do you believe in the importance of unconditional love, continuous encouragement and reinforcement, patience, forgiveness, generosity, warmth, and attentiveness? People who practice these values consistently with the important people in their lives are much happier than people who do not. What are your values with regard to money and financial success? Do you believe in the importance of honesty, industry, thrift, frugality, education, excellent performance, quality, and persistence? People who practice these values are far more successful in their financial life than those who do not, and far faster as well. What about your health? Now, some of you may wonder why they've talked about frugality and thrift, but apparently these are the very important laws for financial success because when you in हिंदी में भी कहावत है जितनी चादर है उतना पैर फंसा फैलाओ, right? So if you spend more than what you have, then that will be in your downward curve. Why? Because that will become compounded again and again and again, and we fall down. But if you start saving, we'll only go up. So if you're frugal, which means you're a little conscious about the money, which means you're saving more, which means you're going up. If you're spending if you're a spendthrift, you're spending more than what you've earned, you're going down ultimately in the long run. So that way it's written. What about your health? Do you believe in the importance of self discipline, self mastery, self control with regard to diet, exercise, and rest? Do you set high standards for your levels of health and fitness and then work every day to live up to those standards? People who practice these values live longer, healthier lives than people who do not. Think about what you want. Remember, you become what you think about most of the time. Successful, happy people think about their values and how they can live and practice those values in every part of their lives every single day. The big payoff is that the more you live your life consistent with your values, the happier, healthier, most positive, and energetic you will be. So, being true to ourselves is very important. Perhaps the most important value of all is that of integrity. A billionaire once said to me, integrity is not so much value in itself, it is rather the value that guarantees all the other values. Wow, this was a great insight for me. Once you have decided that you are going to live consistent with the value, your level of integrity determines whether or not you follow through on your commitment. The more you discipline yourself to live consistent with the very best you know, the greater is your level of personal integrity. And the higher your level of integrity, the happier and more powerful you will feel in everything you do. Truly, great men and women are always described as having high levels of integrity. They live their lives consistent with their highest values, even when no one is looking. Mediocre men and women, on the other hand, always cutting corners and compromising their integrity, especially when no one is watching. Live in truth with yourself and others. Decide today to be a man or woman of honor. Resolve to tell the truth and to live in truth with yourself and others. Crystallize your values in each area of your life. Write them down. Think of how you would behave if you were consistent with those values. And then refuse to compromise them for any reason. Once you accept complete responsibility to your life and for everything that happens to you, and then create an ideal picture of your perfect future and clarify your values, you're now ready to begin setting clear, specific goals in every area of your life. You are now on the launching ramp and ready to take off with the stars. So, clarifying your values. Make a list of 3 to 5 most important values in life today. What do you really believe and stand for? What qualities and values are you best known for today amongst the people who know you? What do you consider to be the most important values guiding your relationships with others in your life? What are your values regarding money and financial success? Are you practicing these values daily? Describe your picture of an ideal person, the person you would most want to be if you had no limitations. Write your own obituary to be read to your friends and families at your funeral exactly as you would like to be remembered. What one change could you make in your behavior today that would help you to live in greater harmony with your values? So, as we've concluded this chapter, let's kind of meditate now and not make it jump into the next chapter so that we have this particular chapter with us and we kind of remember this. All right, everyone, time for us to meditate. So, time for us to practice our Lotus of Gratitude. So, once again, we close our eyes, we straighten our backs, we make our both the hands into 2 beautiful little buds of lotuses. And with every lotus, every finger opening, we count one gratitude. By the end of opening both our hands, all the 5, all the 10 fingers, we would have counted our 10 blessings. This practice usually takes about 100 seconds. So let's circle back around 100 seconds. Gratitude is the biggest multiplier, they say. When we practice gratitude at night, we're expanding our heart. You'll feel expansiveness in your heart. So now look and feel the expansion of your heart by seeing yourself in a vast ocean of love and light, wherein your beautiful 10 gratitudes are merging in. And see how vast they've become, the ocean of happiness, the ocean of growing bigger, deeper, and more profounder. When we sleep in gratitude, the thoughts that are coming are also grateful. And when we wake up, we'll have so much more positivity induced in us with that beautiful night sleep of gratitude, happiness, and so much more. With this, let's call it a night. Sleep tight and have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow in the gap at 9 p.m. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining in this inspirational session this night. And it's going to be great tomorrow as well. Thank you so much for joining in.